Hey there, kiddos, it's me, Miss Carrie. Did I say that like Mr. Ryan? Anyway, you caught me in my hammock. I am really excited to roll out this MNW October 24th edition. We have a song that we do at Rancho Kids, but we have not put it on MNW before, and it's perfect to go with our message today, which is all about some ordinary people who put their trust in an extraordinary God who does some extraordinary things. So this song is from a verse right out of the Bible. It's trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your paths. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And then they put some music to it and we get to dance to it. Lucky us. Here it comes. Trust in the Lord.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord, says Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord, says Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Go! Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord, says Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord, says Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Take it away, Maddie C. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord, says Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord, says Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord, says Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord, says Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
All right, coming up next is Nothing is Impossible. You guys, something very impossible happens in our story today, and yet somehow it wasn't impossible for God. He is the God of the impossible. He is the God who loves to blow our minds with what he is capable of, and he is able to do things that we could never imagine were possible. So here comes Nothing is Impossible.
Through you, I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing
Okay guys, brace yourselves, because look, there's 3 of me. I just found a place in my backyard where there's 3 of me, and I know it is too much, but you know what, it's kind of symbolic of this show, because somehow I got to intro the show, I got to intro worship, now here I am introing the message, and it's not even my birthday. Like, I don't even know what's happening, but here I am living the dream. It's so fun. Thank you, Mr. Ryan, wherever you are. This was a gift from him. So here comes the message. It's from Joshua. It's a great one. And I'll see you. I think I'm actually going to close out the show too. So I'll see you in a minute. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Miss Carrie's Bible in my backyard. I'm really excited to teach today, and I'm especially excited to jump both feet into a brand new book of the Bible called Joshua. Now, the book of Joshua, not surprisingly, is all about a man named Joshua, and it was actually also written by Joshua. So who's Joshua? He's the one that God appointed to lead the Israelites after Moses died. Now let's do a real quick recap of the Israelite story before we start today's story. The Israelite nation began with a man named Abraham. You guys remember this, right? God came to him and said that he was going to make him the father of a great nation, the Israelites, right? And that through this nation, one day the entire world would be blessed. Why is that? Because one day Jesus would come from Abraham's line, would be part of Abraham's family tree, and Jesus would one day die on a cross to save the whole world from sin, right? So the Israelite nation, it grew and grew and grew, and finally one day they found themselves enslaved in Egypt. And they were slaves for many years, and then finally one day God appointed a man named Moses to save the Israelites from the Egyptians, and he did. They left Egypt, they were freed. God even parted the Red Sea so they could walk across and escape the Egyptians. And then they were free, but they were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. But during this time, God promised them that one day he would give them a promised land. He promised them land, basically a home to call their own. But Moses dies, Joshua is appointed, and now God says, it's time. It's time. I'm going to give you the land. But there's an obstacle, like kind of a huge obstacle. An obstacle that involves huge walls. It's the city of Jericho, an enormous city surrounded by enormous walls and an enormous army that's there to protect it. So how in the world are the Israelites going to conquer a city that big so that they can have the land that God gave them and God promised them? So here we go, the story of Joshua. I love how chapter 1 of Joshua begins because it shows that God really knows us. He knows that we get scared sometimes. He knows that when the Israelites saw those big walls and the big army, that they were terrified and that they needed some big promises from him. And so he told them, don't be afraid, be strong and courageous. I'm going to be with you. I'm God. Remember, I'm the one who led I'm the one who led Moses, and I'm going to lead you. I am never going to leave you. I'm never going to forsake you. I have made this promise to you, and I keep my promises. And so they believed him. Joshua believed God, and he got ready to take this city. He started by sending 2 spies into the city, 2 guys to just check everything out. And these guys ended up in the home of a woman named Rahab. Now, Rahab, she had a bad reputation, you guys. She was known for doing pretty bad things. But when the guards came to find the men, because they heard that there were spies in the city and they heard that they were at Rahab's house, and so they came to hunt them down and to take them away. And Rahab, she hid them. She hid them on her roof. She protected them, and she told the guards, yeah, they were here, but they went that way. You should definitely go that way. I'm pretty sure that they left the city before the gates closed, so you definitely go that way. She protected them, and she went to the roof where they were hiding, and she said, you know what? This whole city, we're all afraid of your God. We know that your God helped you to escape the Egyptians. We know that your God has helped you to conquer other nations. Your God seems to be absolutely unbeatable. We know that this land that we're on, that your God has promised it to you. And so we are really scared. But she said, I believe that your God is the God who is the God of the heavens and the God of the earth. She absolutely believed in the Israelites' God, in the one true God. And so the men told her, we will make sure that you and your family are protected when God gives us this city. And so they went back to tell Joshua about what they had seen in the city. And they got ready to do exactly what God says so that they could finally conquer Jericho and receive the promised land. Now, normally, the only way you could take down a city as big and strong as Jericho is with a huge army and a whole lot of force. But that wasn't God's plan. In fact, I would have loved to have seen Joshua's face when God told him what his plan was, because it must have seemed crazy. God said, for 6 days, I want you and the army to walk around the city of Jericho one time every day for 6 days. And then on the 7th day, I want you to walk around the city 7 times, then blow horns and give a mighty shout. And so that is exactly what they did. Joshua trusted God, he obeyed God, and on that 7th day, they walked around 7 times, blew the horns, gave a mighty shout, and they watched the walls of Jericho crumble before them, just to the ground. God versus the walls? God won. Yeah, and just like the spies promised, Rahab and her family were saved, and they came and joined the Israelites. You guys, unbelievable story. Never could they have imagined that that's how God would give them the promised land. He literally just conquered it for them, and he fulfilled their promise, or his promise to them. Amazing story, you guys. Trust God, obey God. God's got a plan. I love it. There's so many more amazing stories to come. We've got an incredible God, and I love how the God of Joshua is the same God who we can trust and obey and know that he has a plan for us as well. We will see you next time. Oh my goodness, you guys, what an awesome show. I mean, I think I can speak for all of us when I say this has been an absolute blast. And I kind of don't want it to end, you know? Like maybe if I don't hit stop, it won't end and we can just keep hanging out, which sounds amazing. Although, you know what? The sooner it does end, the sooner next week's episode will get here. And next week is Halloween. Oh, that should be fun. All right, you know what? I better get started. I gotta meet with Ryan. We're gonna plan next week's show. Be here, it's gonna be great. All right, we'll see you next time, guys.